All right, we're back. We're going to talk about training our team and setting up for expectations. So, this wouldn't be complete without talking about standard operating procedures, SOPs. All right, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other things for accountability reasons, but we'll start with standard operating procedures. All right, SOPs, that's your recipe book for how you clean, how you operate. So anybody can follow a recipe as long as the steps are clearly identified. And that's your job within building your SOP. Now, whether you want to do this via video, via a document, digital, paper, that's all up to you. You may want a little bit of everything. You may want one specific route. Um, Set it up though, right? So some of the things you may want to include in your SOPs, maybe a section about how you're documenting everything, right? Why you're doing it, why you're setting up the SOP, um, what each section is going to have in there. So you'll have a step-by-step guide, possibly have specific products to use, a frequency on it. If you're on a paper document or a digital document, you may talk about having pictures or videos, illustrations. If you're on a if you're actually videoing it, then you may have other things. You may be able to have a commentary that's added afterwards with more in depth, or you may zoom in on specific areas that you're talking about. But make sure that it's all documented so it's completely understood. So that leads right into the next thing as you're documenting in this training process is you're having training sessions within that, but you're also wanting to make sure that this is a continuous thing. You want to make sure that if you're having a constant issue with a person, with a specific cleaner, that you review the areas that are of concern and make sure that they understand this step-by-step guide, that they're going through it exactly how they're supposed to. You're not going to get the recipe right if you're not following the steps. You definitely want to make this accessible to everyone at any point. Now, there's ways you can do that. I've worked with people in the past that now use QR codes. So it's just a quick QR scan for anything they need. I think that's a great idea because it can take you either to a paper document or a video walking you through the step-by-step process of what you need. Having it accessible in that type of digital format is also great. It makes it easier in the training process. This document should be some sort of living document, right? You're going to always need updates and revisions. There's new ideas with cleaning. There's new methods that come out. Revising and updating it should be a must. You should probably review it once a year and make sure there's no revisions that need to happen. And occasionally you're going to run into things that you don't have documented, and that's a perfect time to pull out your phone and shoot a quick video demonstrating your new part of this SOP. Obviously, consistency is key. So stay consistent with it. As you're creating it, stay consistent with creating the pieces of it. Stay consistent with fixing it as needed. Stay consistent with showing that you're following that recipe too. And people are working with you, they need to see it as well, so they feel more obligated to follow it. All right, next up, we're going to talk about setting expectations. It kind of goes together somewhat, but we're going to expand upon it beyond the SOP realm. So when we're setting up expectations, we need to make sure that we understand that communication is key. We need to understand and actually make sure that we're communicating properly. So maybe in the beginning, you have a heart to heart or some sort of conversation with your new hires so they understand where your company is at, the values, the culture, what you stand for. And that shouldn't happen a one and done. That should be a consistent thing where people know what it is. People should also know what their job description is, their responsibilities, and the chain of command. So if there is something that falls beyond what they're capable of doing or what they're expected of doing, they should still be able to bring it up to the proper person within that chain of command. Then this prevents confusion and frustration in amongst the team's members as well, as long as people understand who they need to discuss something with. It can relieve a lot of internal fighting as well. Performance exception or expectations, excuse me. This is something that you want to lay out, but you want to be consistent about following through. If somebody's not doing what they're supposed to, they should be let known that they're not, given ways to fix it, and not be tolerated if they're consistently trying to just skip on things that are expected of other people, because that really will drive a team crazy to see different levels of accepting of things and not accepting of things. Obviously, you should always talk about safety. That should be a non-negotiable. You should always make sure that you have everything in place for your employees and cleaners to be in a safe working environment, have the proper PPE, discuss the fact that they should be using it. All of your SOPs should discuss the fact of using things like PPE. And probably last but far from least is asking for feedback. So regularly get feedback from the people you're working with to see what kind of constructive criticism they have for how you can improve, how you can improve this system, how you can improve everybody's working, everybody's at work. That being said, once again, this isn't a one and done. I mean, this is you put in the work on the front end to get more of a plug and play style thing, but this is something that you can fix, you can tweak, you can add to as you continue to grow, as you continue to add people to your team. But you've got to start somewhere and move on at that point. Alrighty. I believe that covers everything that I wanted to talk about today in this training your team and giving them expectations. So until next time, we shall see you on the next video.